Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Without Context podcast. This is week 3 of Haley is not here, so the boys have control. And our guest for this week, Seattle-based musician and good friend of the podcast, and a long history with a few of us, Mr. Noah Kenton.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Noah. Like Sharky said, I produce music, and I get to kind of live my dream, but it's also kind of a nightmare sometimes. So we can get
And
into that.
yeah, we talked about it in the DM prior. You kind of have a bleak outlook on things, and I kind of wanted to pick your brain about that because I was interested in what you meant by that also.
For sure,
But
man. I
also,
can. All right, go on. My bad.
I was gonna say also the links for all of this stuff will be in the bottom if
Yep,
he has a if for
Spotify.
some
Yeah,
reason he has a
Spotify.
Bandcamp or something.
Yeah,
I'm
Spotify
also
links, all that.
just quickly got to
Yeah.
say I'm sponsored by Adam and Eve. I have a 10% off discount code, and I have a $25 free gift card to Carl's Jr. You just walk in and tell them my name, Hardee's on the East Coast, and yeah, use that and get
I, I,
percentages.
you had me there in the first half. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
The Adam and Eve
no, no,
ship was
no,
more believable than the Carl's Jr.
dude. I'm like, I'm having no sex. I'm the last person they want to sponsor.
Oh man,
But yeah, the link to primarily the Spotify will be down below, and if there are any more links Noah sends me, I'll add those as well. So we'll get you we'll get some eyes on you
hell yeah!
for the 33 subscribers that we have.
And
That's
growing.
almost 34.
We're growing. We are growing. Yes. But yeah. So some history. We met Noah through the unfortunate game called League of Legends many years ago. I think probably going on 7 or 8 years by now, which
Dude, it's got to
is
be longer
insane.
than that, man. I'm pretty sure it was 2012, right?
Uh,
2013, 2014.
I joined Dwight after I started making videos, and I started making videos in 2014.
Gotcha.
So, because that's when I started using the Dwight intro on my videos.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been going on about a
time.
decade now, which is insane to think about in this day and age. And it's been incredible, like just following your musical path. Also, like I was listening to the first few like things that you put out. I was there when the Crimson music video dropped, which is awesome,
bro.
so.
Which is not on the internet anymore. Man, like as an artist, I feel like this constant need to like run away from like everything I've done in the past and like forget about it and erase it from the world. But I think I feel that way on like a weekly basis now too. So that's kind of rough.
It's just kind of the I've learned from this, and if I keep looking back at this, I'm not going to be able to process new things. Is that kind of how the mindset is?
I
Is
think
it that,
that's
or
kind
is
of
it run away in the woods?
also it's a little bit of that too. I think I just cringe. Like I look back at shit that I wrote and I just am like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And you know what? Like that song brought me a lot of opportunities. And the producer I was working with at the time, Austin Bello, he went on to be like just one of my like biggest mentors and greatest friends. And I work with him now. I'm a part of a production company called the Genre House, and we do production and writing and mixing for clients all around the world. And they've done so much shit, dude. Like Disney placements, Vox, like all that shit. Like had like 40 songs on the show Shameless. Like I kid you not, it's crazy. And just really
Jesus.
talented people that I'm really lucky to work with. And it had it not been for like that experience of making that song Crimson, I wouldn't be working with them today, like years and years later. So I'm really grateful for it, but go on.
I was gonna say, is it one of those things like you know how to bring into example Paramore, who when they look back at Misery Business, they're like, this doesn't represent me anymore. This sucks. Even though it's like one of their most popular songs.
It's pretty much exactly that, dude. And at the time I was really like stoked on it and I thought it was a great song. And like to a degree, it's still a great song, but I just like, I don't know, dude. Like that song was literally written about like Dracula. It's a song about Dracula. And
which is jarring
It's
when,
just
because I remember the
yeah,
music video. I remember the music video, and I remember
yeah.
what the music video conveyed with like drug use and like a father leaving and like all this traumatic stuff. And then you tell me it's like Dracula and it's like that punch in the face. I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah, dude. So I was with my so I had a like my best friend throughout my teenage years. His name was Levi. Best friend among many, but we just got like super stoned and wrote that song in, I kid you not, like 10 minutes. And I was just like spouting nonsense. And I like go back and I read those lyrics and I'm just like, bruh, this is fucking garbage.
Certified bruh moment.
Just certified
Uh,
bruh, dude. Most of the
um,
music I released prior to 2020 is all just bruh for me.
I
it's all,
saw
it's that moment. It's that moment
go
of
ahead.
if you knew me in like 2005, no, you didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. I've changed so much over the years, man. And like whenever I was around that time period, whenever I was doing the multiple forms EP, I was getting like a lot of label attention and offers, and I turned them down. And a lot of people have like talked to me and been like, "Oh no, that must be bullshit because nobody turns the label down, blah 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 blah. That's money being thrown in your face." And I was just like, I was high as fuck, and I knew I had no clue what I wanted to do with my music, like at all. And labels are a really tricky thing, and they kind of want you to be like their person for something, whether they want you to be like their Justin Bieber or their Paramore, and or their fucking Drake, which nobody can be Drake. But like I don't know, man. I just was really uncomfortable with the idea of like being pigeonholed into being somebody's anything before I felt like I really knew myself as an artist, you know.
And
Sometimes I look back, I'm like, fuck, maybe I missed out on a whole lot of money, and I could have had a whole lot of fun, like in the beginning of my 20s. But
How old are you
whatever.
now?
I'm 24 now, so I'm still technically
You're
at the
still in your
beginning of my
20s.
20s. But it's like that was like late teenage rolling into like 2021. Which if I was like
Okay.
rolling in money at like 21, fuck, I would have
that's
been having a
crazy.
wild time.
That's
But
crazy, man. We were sitting here playing League of Legends with like 16-year-olds in a gaming group.
look, dude, I was so fucking young. I was literally 16 years old, and man, I thought I knew everything. I thought
Yeah.
I knew it all.
Every 16-year-old thinks they know everything. This
They
is
really
me
do.
looking at you, 16-year-olds in the audience. You don't know shit.
I mean, because yeah, when we were playing League, like when we started, I was in my early 20s. I'm 32 right now, so
You're just reaching. You're finally reaching daddy status.
I am daddy,
and you look so good, man.
I do.
I've
recently started like shaving my head too because I'm noticing like my dad's hairline, and I was the first time I shaved it, I was like, I actually fucking dig this. Like,
dude, you look good. You look hard.
It was
like I'm not like I'd be scared of you.
It's the beard
if you weren't so nice.
And it's just like if I didn't have this like actual developing dad bod and actually some muscles, it'd probably be more intimidating.
You need some prison tats, dude.
Just get like a leather vest.
Yeah, the leather vest and prison tats, and like maybe to throw them off like a sachet, like a nice billowy
sachet.
But well, back to Noah. This episode's about Noah, not me. The multiple forms EP that you brought up. You guys did a music video, if I remember, for Halo, right? Or something for Microsoft?
It was just used as promotional material for the launch of Halo 5. And it was really sick. Like on launch day, like you could like boot up the Xbox and like my face was like right there, which was fucking wild. But I took that shit down too, dude. I like I couldn't stand it. I look back at that and I'm just like, God, you were an ugly duckling. I just can't even look at it. So I was like,
How old were you when Halo 5 came out?
I was 18, I think.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? I think I was
some 18-year-old face on one of the logos of Halo. Jesus Christ.
No, dude, it was wild. It was insane because I was there. I think I had you on Facebook, one of your Facebook profiles when you shared
prior
that,
to
and I was like, wait, what the fuck? And I looked at it as like official like Microsoft like YouTube and just Noah and his band. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm so proud of this kid. Like,
Thank you, man. It was wild. I remember whenever I got that call, I just cried. I just cried. I was like, I made it. No,
No,
no, you don't make it. You just get to do cool shit. And
I
yeah, man,
wanted
I had fun.
I wanted to touch on something that you brought up with the whole like not joining label and just not doing what you
Sure.
wanted to do with your music. I do
Mhm.
follow your Spotify page, and I do notice like there is a gap between your single releases, and I'm guessing that's just from a creative side of thing. You can't just be pushing out music all the time. You have to have that like spark of inspiration. Is that kind of how you do your?
Well, this is all right. So this is where we kind of get into the nitty gritty of shit. Like, I, how am I gonna put this? I make a lot of music. I make music every single day, and I finished an album last year, and then a whole nother EP, and then I just decided no. I could have put it out, and it was like
It's
a
just
15 song album. Like I just decided no. Like so, I'm constantly making music, but I can just feel myself like excelling with like each new thing that I do. And not like every song you make is the best song that you make,
no.
right? But you have to like try. Like my mentor always tells me, he's like, "You're only as good as like the last song that you put out," and I stand by that. But like, if I'm making something and I'm like, "Oh, this is sick, this is awesome," and then like 3 days later I make something I think is like even better, I'm just like, man, fuck all that other shit. Like this is garbage into the I tell my producer friends, I'm like, this is one for the garbage bin. And then I'll send them something and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Put this out right now. And I'm like, no, it's garbage. It's for the raccoons. And
For the raccoons.
but like it is to my detriment, 100%. 100% to my detriment because uh consistency within uploading is important for music, but the thing is like I don't like I get streaming royalties mean nothing to me. Like play count, view count means nothing to me. Like I've met the majority of the people who inspire me, and I'm on good terms with them, and I'm well known within like the music production sphere. But like you're not a million plays isn't making you any money. It's not, and this is where like my greedy side kind of comes in, I guess. But I make money from producing and writing for other people. I don't make money from any of my music streams, like at all. Like we're talking like 0.00067 of a cent per Spotify stream. And it
Mhm.
only kind of gets worse from all the other streaming services and slightly better with stuff like Tidal, but nobody uses that. So it's weird, man. I don't care about how many people are listening to me or whatever. I like my own music is it's like my baby. It's like I'm gonna love it because it's like born of me. And whether they grow up to be fucking well known or they are like an underwater welder that lives in a tiny shack, like I'm still gonna love it. Right. It doesn't matter how many eyes are on it or not. And so I don't feel the same pressure that a lot of artists feel where they're like, oh, I need to promote myself 24/7. I need to be this brand. I need to be this image because I get paid for doing what I love to do. It's just on a different end of the spectrum, you
You're on the
know.
back
But I
end.
yeah, I'm on the back end, but that gives me 100%, autonomy and freedom to be able to make whatever I want my own art to be, which is pretty much all that I could ever ask for. Because if you're locked into a label deal for 4 years, and people don't understand that like money from a label is a loan, right? You're not doing anything until you recoup the funds they invested into you. And so you can be locked into a 6-year contract with a label. And if your first project flops, they're not going to put any more money into you, and then you're stuck on the shelf somewhere, and you're under contract, so you can't make music or release anything without the label's okay. And if they don't want to invest more money into you, then you're fucked. So you're just sitting there, like not able to do anything. And a lot of these artists like really hunger for that fame and like crave it. And then they get it, and then they realize that there's always like a bigger fish in the pond, you know? And then it's crushing not only like to your ego, but it can be to your life because if you spend all the money on your from your advance, So you get a $20,000 advance and you buy a car, you put like a down payment on an apartment and shit like that, or a house. And you can just really fuck yourself like entirely. And I'm sorry if my cursing is like a bit
No,
too
it's
much.
fine. It's normal.
Perfect. And I've seen people go down that hole, man. And like I've lived in Los Angeles, and like I don't live in LA anymore because I couldn't stand it, because a lot of the time I would meet people and I would just be like, all these people want the exact same thing, which is to just like have their ego stroked by, you know, whomever, and to like get this label deal, and they feel like it's going to make them happy. And I'm like, you pull up to the studio for writing sessions and they're just like, how do we make this the most digestible thing that can be like have the most mass appeal and make money? And I'm just like, this is, for me, that's just not what making art like is about, like when it comes to my true like inner self. And a lot of the reason why like I'm blessed to be able to do production and writing for other people is because the majority of the people that like I work with are smaller artists who have these lofty dreams, but I try to instill like the importance of like, let's make something that feels like you, and that is special to you, and like really comes from your heart, and isn't just this like you're trying to write exactly what the label wants type of thing. And because it's like, if all you're trying to do is like fulfill the expectations of everybody else, like you're leaving yourself behind, and you're constantly like, your definition of success like turns into this goalpost that you just like keep moving based upon what somebody else wants from you. And I just don't think that's okay.
It's that
And I yeah.
is that classic, do it because you want to do it compared to do it for the money. That
Yeah, it really is.
it's like that with music. It was like that with YouTube for me at the start. When I
Mhm.
started trying to keep up with the algorithm, the daily uploads, the video length, I burnt myself out and I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because there was no payoff to it. It's like I just kept uploading videos and uploading videos, and 1,000 something videos in, I'm like, I have nothing to show for this. And it's just like sucker punch me. It's like I did this because I wanted to try to succeed at it, rather than doing it because I enjoyed the game. I wanted to entertain people and
Sure.
all this other mess of things.
But the thing is like, you did succeed. You put all that work in, and it meant something, and it meant something to you. And even if it was a small
7
amount of
years of
people, like,
videos. So
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's an accomplishment I can't say. Like, I would love to start a YouTube channel or something, and I'm just like, I wake up and then
and now
I'm like,
28 weeks of a
no,
podcast. So
yeah, dude, exactly. So it's
Hey.
like, and I'm sure like all that stuff helped with everything that you're doing now, and
oh
it
yeah, I'm
led
still
into
the
that.
editor.
So
So
exactly. So like that's
Everything that we do in our past leads us to where we are now, and that sounded more deep than I wanted it to. Um, your story you were telling me about how your songwriting, you want to, as a publisher or someone who helps other songwriters or artists.
mhm.
It reminded me of the story of Avenged Sevenfold's a little piece of heaven, where
Love that
it was
song,
this
dude.
yeah, it's a
I was
really
a
cool
big
song.
A7X fan as a kid.
Yeah, and it's this wild song of like, it's just it was
Crazy music
it's one of
video.
those. Yeah, and it's one of those where you listen to the lyrics, it's like, huh, this is kind of fucked up. But I remember I've listened to the story of that song, and according to them, the A&R came in and like was listening to it. It was like, hey, this song's good. You should put this one out. And they were like, we're just fucking around with this song. What do you mean? And they put it out, and it's like, it turned out to be one of their hits. It's a
For
really good
sure,
song.
man. There are definitely ones like that, dude, where it's like you're like, you don't know how to feel about it like at all, and then like somebody else hears it and they're like, yo, this is crazy.
if
And
it's
I'm just like,
if it's any consolation, every time you put out a song, I'm just like, the song's a fucking banger.
thank you, man.
And I added
Thank
to
you.
He showed us playlists.
I showed them the playlist. I was like, so we're getting my friend Noah, and I slapped down the Spotify playlist, and I was just like,
Thank you, man. I
I
appreciate
have
that,
all
dude.
that shit saved into my own playlist. I love
And see,
Integer,
like,
the most recent
thank you,
one.
dude.
So it's just
Like,
like
that
every time you
means
release a song, it's just I'm there, I'm in. Like,
that means so much to me, dude, because like a lot of, and this kind of harkens back to what I was saying a second ago, but it's like that means more to me than like getting 1 million streams on a song like means
Mhm.
to me, because it's like whenever I am able to like talk to somebody, and like there's like different levels of access that people have to like the content creators that they enjoy, right? And if like let's say like PewDiePie, right, is gonna like he's got so many "I love you" comments like for years, like they don't mean anything to him anymore. He can
Mhm.
like sit back and be grateful as like a whole for his community, but like he doesn't have that like more personal,
It doesn't have the personal
relationship.
touch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like within like Sharky, I it's been like years of you like affirming me, and I know who you are and what you do. So it I get to be proud of you and seeing what you do and be able to like look through
Shucks.
Twitter and like keep tabs on you a little bit. Like not that you know that I do that, but I'm like, let's see what Sharky's
No,
doing
dude.
today.
The
And
day I was going through Facebook one day, and I'm like, I haven't heard from Noah in a while. I wonder if he's still making music. And I went to search for, I guess this was before your first like Facebook purge, where you, I guess maybe
yeah.
deleted a profile or
No,
something. And
I
I
get
was
rid of
like,
everything all the time, man. It's
yeah,
bad.
deleted. I was like, oh, it's like add friend. I was like, huh, see. And then I think I saw something. I saw something on your page that pointed to Ikigai, the song that you had put
Yeah.
out. And I had listened to that because I had listened to Crimson in multiple forms, the music videos a lot in the past. So seeing Ikigai, I was like, oh, he's still putting out like such good music. And that one, I think, was the first song of yours that had such a different sound to it.
Yeah.
Crimson definitely struck me as kind of, before I realized it was about Dracula, uh, kind of hit me with like that usual like just
It's
this is
real
very like
formulaic pop, dude.
it's
Like,
very formulaic like emo pop, I think.
yeah, for sure.
And then Ikigai came out, and you had it's hard. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like uh blues, but also kind of like that usual like indie sound. I guess I don't know how to say it. There's like the indie song sound.
The indie sound. Yeah, yeah.
It's like when I say indie song, something pops up in your head of how that a song like that sounds.
For
Sounds
sure.
less produced.
Yeah, it sounded like it was.
I don't know if it sounds less produced. I think it just sounds like less fake, if
Yeah,
that makes
Sure.
sense. Like
there's not a
like
lot of backing. There's not a lot of backing to it. It's like a simple beat. It's the vocals. It's one or two instruments, and it
and
just
that's
had a
so oftentimes or I'm sorry, go on.
no. It was just like this entirely different sound, and I was like, "This is awesome." And then when Integer came out, it was like that same kind of sound. So I was like,
Yeah.
and I think on your Spotify page, it's like electronic, like blues. I think is like one of the genres or something that it was.
I think it's just like alternative R&B is
Yeah,
what it is. And which I don't even think is a fair thing to describe me as, but like maybe I
I don't know who's in
like
charge of
nobody's
logging music.
it's all the robot overlords, dude.
It's the
But
algorithm, man.
it's the algorithm. And Ikigai was like was a weird kind of turning point for me, because like I loved that song and now I'm iffy on it, but it's like it's cool. But that song was strange, man. I like started off by like sampling this record from like the 19 like 40s. And I just like found these weird sounds from it. One of them being that like kind of cool bell sounding thing that you can hear running throughout the track. And like for me that was like a creative like opening for like in my soul. And I was like, fuck, this is like simple. It's not simple to do. Like I'm not gonna like making a song like that takes like hours and hours and days of like work.
Oh, I
Like to
believe it.
make it sound good. I
I don't believe
usually
music is
get
fast.
yeah, I usually get like the entire song like made within like 6 or 7 hours of me just like being a goblin at my computer at like 3 in the morning. But it takes like a long time to like make the final decisions on what needs to go there and what needs to be polished. I'm just a big fan of like throwing paint at the wall and then like gradually uh like taking layers away and
It's
then being
it's the
like
spaghetti method.
it's the spaghetti method, dude.
Throw spaghetti at the
I am
wall, see what sticks.
that's exactly right. I'm a total spaghetti methodier, if that's even a word.
Method dear.
But it should be. Yeah, man, that song was cool, and all of my songs are like really, really personal to me. Like I don't put anything, like I don't like in that's like the difference between part of why I cringe at like stuff like Crimson, even though it's a cool song and it did a lot for like my career. Um, like I didn't give a fuck about what I was saying. I was just high and writing about Dracula. But like now that I'm a sober dober, I I'm just really careful with what I say, and most of my songs are like love songs, and I kind of get some flack about that from my friends, but I'm just like I feel a whole lot of love, so I might as well just write about it. And but the weird thing about like music is like not only am I like immortalizing my own voice whenever I put this stuff out there, but I'm also just like immortalizing every single thing that I say about somebody else.
Yeah.
And there are times where it's like I'll be like upset at somebody or stressed out or real sad about somebody, and as we all get, like the human condition. And I don't know. There are times where I tried to write like angry songs instead of like weird love songs, and I'm just like, this feels wrong. I'm like,
It's
why
just
would I
not
ever
in,
want
it's
to
not
like,
in you.
yeah, it's not in me. I'm just like, why would I want to put something negative about somebody and have it like exist in this like weird internet sphere for potentially forever, you know?
Yeah.
And
Someone deletes it.
but yeah, until somebody deletes it. And I don't know, man. I write about really, really personal stuff, but I kind of mask it in this weird, like waxing poetic, verbose way. So nobody like everybody can like relate to it, like as like for the majority, but then I'll like throw in lines that are just very clearly specific to me that nobody would know like nobody but that one person who is about would understand and like know the poignance of it.
Kind of gives me like grunge vibes. 'Cause that's kind of how grunge worked as well. It was like,
Yeah,
these people were very, very much hurting. And their songs were just hits after hit after hit, and it was just like, wow, this person was hurting,
yeah,
or
for
however they
sure,
however they
dude.
might have felt.
And that's a valid point, man, because it's strange. Like a lot of people can like listen to music, but they're not really like listening to it. And
Mhm.
that's a really stupid way to put it. But like I'll listen to songs and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck this person is talking about. Sounds good. Bass be thumping, drums be smacking. I like it. And then I'll like actually like go through and I'll like read the lyrics and I'll be like, yo, this guy just like robbed a Chevron and his parents are getting divorced. This is
Rob the
crazy.
Chevron.
And
Just it's like
yeah,
hearing
I
some
love
like
that about music.
just some hard rock song. It's like, the double bass drums going, just like good guitar riffs, and then
Yeah,
read the lyrics, and it's like this guy is just on a trip to get some mozzarella sticks.
literally,
So
literally, it
It's
can be just that. That's
it's
art.
the song Afternoon Delight, where it's this very nice song, and it's like they're going to have
having
like
sex.
extramarital sex.
Coitus. It's coitus. Yeah, it's wrong. Shameful, lustful behavior.
that
Mhm.
that
It
mozzarella stick
was
joke.
shameful in back then.
It
That
really
mozzarella
was.
stick joke gets me though, because it's just the ska. I describe ska music as a kid who gets an extra mozzarella stick hears in his head.
Dude,
So,
So
I can't stand ska music, I'll be honest with you. My
uh,
brother loves it, my
we're
dad
gonna
loves
differ
it.
there, man.
I can't stand it. Like it's just something about it. Like I'm not excited by it. And I feel like if you're not excited listening to ska, then like it's just like what's the point?
it's
But
it's not for
mozzarella
you, yeah.
sticks. I almost had some mozzarella sticks yesterday and I was like staring at the menu like really, really fucking hard. I was like, I'm either getting like chicken strips and mozzarella sticks or just like a burger. And I was like looking around at all the people like around me. And I was like sitting by myself, like getting dinner by myself. And like I'm
Oh,
just
that's sad.
surrounded by like old people drinking. And I was like, fuck. Like I'm gonna look like a child if I'm like, eh,
Just chicky
can
strips
I
and
just get
mozzarella
the
sticks.
tendies and the
Chicken
mozzarella
nuggies.
sticks? The nuggies and the sticks. And I was like, I'm getting a burger. But I almost
uh,
panicked, dude. I wanted them so bad. I
dude,
just let like my pride got in the way.
that was something that Kristen kept dogging me about. It was like yeah, I'm gonna go get some boneless wings. And she's like, do you mean your adult chicken nuggets? And
Yeah, your adult
I was
chicken
like,
nuggets.
I was just like, listen, okay.
They're good for me.
Yes, but also, how if you were to like, I know this is the the major record label person talking, like
Sure.
distill your music, not because most people will be like, well, I actually I'm in like this genre and this genre and this one. If you were to like put like the music as a whole into a genre of yours, what would you best describe it as? Not it doesn't have to fit like perfectly, but what best do you think it would label as?
I would just say probably like alternative indie music.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that I would describe it, because
Yeah.
indie is a pretty vast genre. So is alternative,
Mm-hmm.
and like a lot of my shit sounds very different from one another. Like especially like my
Mm-hmm.
newer stuff that I'm going to be coming out with this year. It's like I try not to do the same thing over and over again. They can have like thematically like similar sounds and elements that like kind of like tie them together, but I don't ever like things to be like carbon copies.
The opposite of Coheed and Cambria, where Coheed does like this chord represents this chord from like 3 albums ago.
Yeah, but I love Coheed, dude. I was
Yeah.
Have
I
you
was
heard
on my
their
way home the other
new
night
song,
and listening to what song was it?
Liars Club? Their new single.
I haven't, dude. I
Oh,
like
it's
I'm
really
not gonna
good.
lie, I like listened to like The Suffering on repeat and
always.
like
The Suffering's
like and
very good.
just like driving home, screaming.
Dude,
Love it.
like I have a Coheed and Cambria playlist for when I drive. It's Suffering, Blood Red Summer, Favor House
Yeah.
Atlantic,
Mhm.
Gunslingers,
Oh, they were so
Gravemakers and
good, dude.
Gunslingers. Oh,
Claudio's voice is like a really love it or hate it like type
It's
of
very
voice, but I
polarizing,
love
yeah.
it. It's great. I think he's fantastic.
and you got their recent album, Dark Sentencer, Old
Mhm.
Flames, like all that is so good.
It was weird, dude. Like whenever I was listening back to like some of their earlier albums last week, I was like, this shit affected me as like an artist. I'm like, yo,
It should have affected him.
oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. It's like
The man
it's
needed therapy.
weird. Oh, he really, really did, dude.
There was an interview. He said it's like, if there's one thing you can go back and change about your early albums, what would it be? And he's like, not putting my real family's names as the characters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I try
The
to
man
never
had
drop
issues that he had to
names.
work out.
Yeah. I think name dropping can be cool if it's like a like I
If
don't
they're
know.
in on it, right?
No. I don't know if like if they're in on it, it's the respectful thing to do for sure. But I
Yeah.
feel like if you're like writing a really serious song and then like in the last bar you say their name, it's just like, ugh, this hurts me.
Mm,
Like that's an
fair
effective
enough.
way of like some emotional, like tactical poignance. But I don't fucking know. If somebody's like writing a song called like Julia, and it's just like Julia, Julia, like the whole fucking time, I'm just gonna be like, I don't know a Julia. Like, I can't get into this.
nobody
Like,
learned their
I
lesson.
mean, that's like
with
80s
Come On.
R&B.
It's like nobody learned their lesson with "Come On, Eileen" or even "Hey There, Delilah."
yeah, I've never came on an Eileen. I can't relate to it.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
I have
fantastic.
a beef with Hey There, Delilah.
I
But
hate it.
like it, because it's like every indie like person's like wet dream, right? It's like, hey, I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna play my guitar for like 6 months, I'm gonna make $1 billion, come back and it'll be all right. But that just I kind of wanted to bring this up earlier. It reminds me of those people in school who are like, I'm just gonna get football scholarship. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
bother with anything else, because the people who go to the NFL, the NBA, NHL, the people who become artists and like well-known musicians is like the top 0.5 percentile,
Oh yeah.
if that, of all artists and all sports people and all like any kind of content creator. Is that the upper echelon is that small, and you have to fight to get up there to crack into that space, and people very rarely, if ever, do.
It's the majority of it is luck. I'll be just
Mm.
straight up honest about that. And
It's like that with
Most of the
YouTube.
time, it's just based.
It's just
Yeah,
luck.
it's just based off of physical appearance as well, which I kind of fucking hate, dude. Because it's
Mm.
like, especially like on the music end of things, like labels, they're like, wow, 17-year-old girl with crazy voice. Uh, who she is as a person really doesn't matter because we can make that up for them to suit whatever narrative we think would be popular. And now we are running her life, and she has no clue what she's doing, and her parents are all excited because
Because there's
money.
money.
Yeah,
Money.
and
It's the Disney factory. It's the Nickelodeon factory.
yeah, it's the same thing
Mm.
with music, dude. But honestly, music is the most corrupt out of all of them.
Oh, I can imagine.
And it's it's a shame, dude. It really is a shame. And like whenever I work with like younger artists, or like I try to mentor younger artists, I always tell them, I'm like, this shit is fucked. You are a product to them. If you want to go down this pathway, do it, but be like extremely legally knowledgeable about like what you're getting into to like
Get
save
like a
yourself
separate
from,
lawyer.
yeah,
Get a
years
contract
and years
lawyer.
of pain. Get a contract lawyer. Have people who have done this tell you their experience with it. Like, don't just go willy nilly with everything and think that like you've made it, because like I don't really think that like you've made it unless like you can lay down in bed at night and like know that like everything is taken care of, and there's still some shit on the side for you to like know what you want to do, like made it like financially within music. Because it's
Sure.
like I was watching this interview with this rapper, and he was like, yeah, you can't afford, like really afford $100,000 like Cuban link chain unless you've got like 30 million in the bank. Like,
Yeah.
so people who are like, yeah, I just got like $400,000, I'm gonna go spend 100K on jewelry or get a new car or whatever. I'm like, you can't really afford that. Like, that's not
It
within your
just
means.
it just shows like the difference. Like that's the thing. It's like you made it as a musician when you get the Ferrari, when you get the
Yeah,
LA home. And for me, and like I guess for just more down to earth creators who just want to do something and get it out there, it's like for me, I want to be able to go to dinner, pay for it, and not worry about it.
that's it for me too,
Like
dude. And
that's
that's kind of
Dream.
like
it's just like if I can
that's
swipe my card, pay for dinner, and walk out, like not thinking about how much money's left, that's when I know I'm comfortable.
yeah,
Like it's the
man.
simplest things. I don't
And
need the car. I don't need the house. I don't need the jewelry. I don't need the nighttime parties. It's like I just want to be able to do what I want to do to make me happy and know that it's not going to break me.
that's all that extra shit is just, a lot of it's just posturing.
It is.
And
It's
I'm
peacock feathers.
peacock feathers, that's right. And you attract the same type of shitty behavior when you're living your life
Yeah.
like that lavishly.
Like
And
begins like.
that's right. And I'm just so not into that, dude. Like, all I want to do is to just like be a dad and like be able to afford food and pay for my
Yeah.
car. Like,
I,
but you know what's cool is like there are time periods in my life where I get to live that way, where I can go spend a ton of money and not really care.
You can
But then
go
there
get a
also there,
burger.
yeah, that's right. And
No, you could think about chicken strips and mozzarella sticks or a burger. Like that was the
or I just,
option.
the
all of them.
the
Just
gold
get
foil
all of
burger
them.
from what is it? Hard Rock, the Hard Rock in L.A.
I can't talk about any burgers unless they're from Carl's Jr. I'm gonna lose my sponsorship. But
Oh
but
right, I forgot. Legally binding.
I'm legally bound. I'm into that legal BDSM. But
Oh no.
yeah, dude, I have no lofty dreams for anything with life. Like, and I'm blessed to make money doing what I love, and I have like I'm blessed to know the people that I know, including you two, and I just, it's really weird. I think people want way too much out of life. I think they think that they're going to be
It's
happy when they have X, Y, or Z, and like financially making it is kind of, it's one of those things where there's this like standard of what people think making it is. But like for me, I'm
yeah.
like, if you feel like you are doing, you're waking up and you're achieving your purpose, and like what makes your, like what feeds your soul, like, then you've made it. If you don't really need to have like, many digits in the bank account to like effectively have like made it as a human being in the world. And
Yeah.
when my writer's block goes away and I get the serotonin from like writing articles on my Patreon,
yeah,
mwah, it's the best.
perfect. That's the
When I
reward. Like
when
that's
I
the key.
finish the campaigns on Saturdays and all that, it's just like I'm sitting there in like the afterglow of a session, and then I go,
Afterglow, Jesus.
and then I go out to like Burger King and get some burgers.
You're like, let's go.
And all
that's
and
like
all
the
of us are like
best.
spamming Sharky, like, "Oh yeah, Sharky, it was great, we loved it." And he's like, "Did you actually though?"
I was
Oh,
just
the
like, do
bashful.
you really? Like,
No, that's such a good feeling. Like knowing
Mhm.
that you brought somebody joy, like is just it's worth so much more than tons of dollars. Because it's
yeah,
like if like I always say this to people, I'm like, if I had millions of dollars, like I would spend like none of it on me. I would
yeah,
just buy a shit ton of shit for everybody else, and because it's like it's all like material shit, and like moments like that where you finish a campaign and people are genuinely happy and smiling and laughing and they feel good. There's nothing beats that. It's
it's
impossible to.
the running joke of winning the lottery and instantly like gaming house moving by moving. So,
Yeah, that would be fun, man. I'd have to come
but
visit.
I thought about it, doing the thing, what makes you like happy and all that, and the songs that you make. I was thinking about it last night, or over the weekend, also when I was driving around. It's those songs that's like I can put on like during a late night drive,
Yeah,
just like me, just like going through like back roads or something, just clearing my head. Those are the songs I can listen to, and just like it's just like a piece to it, just because
thank
of
you,
this.
dude.
Podcast effect, right?
Yeah,
Huh?
it's just the sound of them because they're not that energetic. They're not like, they're going to get your heart racing and your blood pumping. It's just they're very, to an extent, very peaceful songs a lot of the
They
time.
are,
And
and
it's definitely like if there was a scene in a movie or something of somebody driving like late at night, that's the kind of song that would be playing in like the background.
I'll take that as a good compliment because like everybody's
Yeah,
night driving and
Everybody loves night drives.
everybody loves it, and
everybody.
that's very intentional for me. Because a lot of my earlier stuff was very energetic and very like, four on the floor drums and like really heavy guitars, which I've been getting back into like heavy guitar stuff lately. And not like heavy, like fucking, gent heavy, but just like distortion, which like distortion was a no-no for me for a long time. I was like, none of that, none of that. But I'm into it again. But I still just I have this weird neuroticy where I need things to sound like clean and pretty. And like usually when things are like clean and pretty, like a perfectly folded bed sheet straight out of the wash, like or the dryer, like it's there's this like sense of calm and peace that like
Putting on
is
pants right off the dryer.
yeah, it's just like you're like, this feels good. I feel safe. This is peaceful and nice.
Mhm.
And like I just try to like impart that into my music and I'm very intentional about it. Like I don't put anything in my song unless I think it sounds like pretty. Like I have to like I listen to every sound. Like sometimes I'll just like solo one thing and I'll listen to it over and over and over again trying to decide if it's pretty or not. And if it's not pretty, I'm like, fuck it, get out of here. And but and you know
Marie
what?
Kondo that bitch.
Yeah, that's right. And oh god, that's funny. But love that show. But yeah, it really is a lot like that. It really is. And I don't know. Like when it comes to like peaceful, it's weird because most of the time, the majority of my songs are written from a real place of like pain and heartache and stress within me. And there's something about like taking that and turning it into something beautiful that just it's like it's elating. It really just makes me feel like so much better to be able to like take moments of sadness and shitty times and even like just like like if there's like somebody I hurt in my past and I write a song about them and I'm like doing nothing but like being affirming and like funneling love and care like in a sonic way at least, like that like is really important for like my own mental health and stress within dealing with life because if I was just writing about the shit that made me happy all the time, then I'd probably be really sad.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
you can be productive and proactive with it, and make a song that can speak a little more truly than your words can,
yeah,
or you can revert to who you were and substance, anything like that again, and you're like, just not think about it, and that's only worse.
yeah,
So it's
for
like,
sure.
it's definitely a more healthy way and a more creative way to do it. And I mean, if these were the songs I get from you, feeling better about things that you've done or getting stuff off of your chest, just just flood it, just open up the floodgates, man. Give me the music.
I'm
Sure.
trying. And it's weird, like a lot of people because I have like real bad depression, and I handle it like very socially. And that doesn't mean I lock myself away in like my dungeon for sure, but like I talk to people all the time, and I don't really like wear it the way that I used to, where I was just like, oh, I'm gonna succumb to this sadness and be the like dude in the corner, just sad. And
They don't know I have
they
depression.
don't know I've got skeletons in here. But yeah, I decided that I was like gonna really change the way I interacted with the world, just because I got bored. I got really bored of just like behaving sadly. And like a lot of people are like, well, do you feel like depression like makes your music better? And I'm like, well, maybe, like it could, but like there are a lot of artists out there who like create problems for themselves to give themselves something to write about. And I think that that's like a huge issue. I don't think that like artists need to be sad to be able to feel like they have that drive to be productive, and that's it's up to debate right now, like the whole starving artist thing. Like when you're really hungry, you're making your best art, or when you're really sad, that's whenever your art's the most impactful and emotional. And I don't really agree with that. I think
I
that
don't think it's true. Yeah,
yeah,
because
I
I
think
think
that
a lot of artists that were hurting in like like the early '90s. I like to use the example of like Eddie Vedder from Pearl
sure.
Jam, who, like, yeah, he wrote like some very deep, traumatic songs about things that affected him, and then he got, I don't want to say better, but he got help, and
He did.
even like he's still writing really good songs today.
Oh, he's
and,
great. And
and
same thing with like Soundgarden too. And
you have the
Mhm.
classic Cobain, like he didn't get help that he needed with
I
stuff like
think he
that.
was murdered.
I think it
I'm
was
gonna
murder
throw it
too.
out there. I
I
think he
wasn't
was
going to throw it out
100%
there until
murdered.
somebody else did. Courtney Love
No, he
murdered
was
him.
murdered for sure.
There's
1000%.
Is that
sure, but like
is that
that's
libel
still in a
to
way
say this on a
still stuff
podcast?
coming.
Is that
Yeah,
I
libel or
don't think you're allowed to
slander?
say that on a podcast.
it's weird. My dad has this
Oh God,
theory
she's
that
at the door right now.
what? My dad has this theory that I'm Kurt Cobain reincarnated because I hate Nirvana. And he was like, nobody on earth hates Nirvana, and the only person who would be Kurt Cobain. And he like
That's
died
fair.
like shortly before you were born. So I'm like, I do live in Washington now. I
Oh
try to
no.
keep Courtney's out of my life to like the greatest extent that I can.
Courtney
But
Love can't be reincarnated. She's not dead yet.
well, it could be just like a Courtney thing, maybe like the majority of like female murderers that haven't been found in America are named Courtney.
You were talking about how you wear your depression differently than you used to.
Hmm.
When I was in my like going from like 16, I think, until like my mid 20s or so. So for a solid like 10, 11 years, I had real bad anger issues. And I had this some people know it as like a come to Jesus moment, where
Sure.
it's like I'm thinking in my head like, who is this serving, and like what am I doing here, what is actually the point of this? And from then on, like I've intentionally like kind of dissociated myself. At first it was like dissociating myself from like those things that make me angry or make me
Yeah.
upset, and little by little it turns into like just not being upset at the same things I would have snapped at 10 years ago.
So what you're saying is you got rid of all of your anger issues and then joined a gaming community around League of Legends.
Yep. That was
Man,
well. I was in Dwy and around the time I still had some of these issues.
it probably
I
perpetuated some of
Yeah,
them.
they probably
a little
exacerbated the
bit.
issue. Like,
I worked at Walmart for 13 years. You guys think I know
Holy
what's good for
fuck.
my mental health?
that's true. I worked at GameStop for about 8 years, so
Oh
Yeah,
God, Sharky.
but
That's
it was
almost
a
yeah,
worse than Walmart.
it was a part-time
Not
job.
like
I was a busboy during the day. And I worked at
my
GameStop at
brother
night.
worked at
So,
GameStop. I
so.
know the ins and
Uh,
outs of the GameStop pain.
but
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 no,
yeah,
like
I at some
yeah.
point you just like take what this stuff that like really bothers you, and you're just like, is this really serving? Is this serving me? Most of all, is
Mhm.
this serving me? And if it's not, just push it away.
Yeah, like why
Or
care?
make those strides into like pushing it away, because it isn't just a snap your finger, it's done.
No.
You have to mend the fences. You have to go back to people and be like, hey, I was wrong, I fucked up, I'm sorry.
and I mean,
um
as 3 unlicensed, like, psychologists and stuff like that, it helps to put it into something productive.
It
It's
really
like
does.
you could sit here like Deca, just angry, she's just pissed off, and just not have anything to put it into, and it just gets worse.
mhm.
Or you can sit here like Noah and have sadness and stuff like that, and not put it constructively into a song to get it out there and out of your mind and into something more beautiful about it. Or me, who was stressed out at the time. I was making 2 videos a day for 4 years straight. So, and then I stopped and made single videos a
There's
day
a
for
mid
3 years.
there's like a midpoint between the two of those.
Oh, for sure.
There's a midpoint somewhere.
I
There is
got
a
so
midpoint.
burnt out. It was bad. Like, I was like, my mental state was just in the gutter because I was just so
Mhm.
tired. It was go to work, come home, record. The next day, go to work, come home, edit all the videos for the week.
And it's Groundhog Day. It's just
And
day in,
Yep.
day out.
take a break for like 2 days because the week's uploaded, and then come home from work and record for 4 hours to get next week's worth of footage. And it was just,
There's
I
no
had
room to
no
breathe
life.
there.
Like, I had nothing outside of it. It was just that.
It's really crazy. Like a lot of the times, like even though I know I'm like dealing with my emotions in a productive way, like I am perpetually burnt out. That is for sure. Like I am still where you were at, Sharky, with the whole video thing, but I can't not be. I am like full blown like addicted to like creating music.
Well, it's like, is
And
it like, it's like, it could be like, yeah, you're addicted to doing it and you're burnt out, but it's like, do you go into it like, oh God, I have to do this again? Or are you like, let's go, let's get this song made kind of energy?
you know what? That's a good way. That's a good question to ask because I think that kind of frames it for me differently
Mhm.
internally. So thank you. Um, no, I'm
Also,
always excited to do it. Or I'm sorry, go on.
no, you're good. But I was gonna say, before we continue on this is a great, like, and everyone's making great progress. Still go to therapy, people listening to this. Still go to
Yeah,
therapy.
go get it done. Go get it
What's
done. Or
the
just like be me and
one
like look at frog memes.
one
You know,
of one of the podcasts I listen to, one of the guys says something. It's, mental health is not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
for sure.
hmm
100%. 100%. You got to make a
So you
change.
can't blame yourself for it, but you do have to understand, if you acknowledge that there's something wrong, then you have to start taking the steps to help it.
You gotta take accountability.
Yeah,
And be proactive about feeling
because
good.
there's nothing I hate more than people who are like, "Oh, I'm sorry I acted that way. I was depressed," and I'm like, "That's not a good enough reason." Like, there has to be this accountability to it. You can't
Yeah.
just use it as an excuse.
I'm like, if you're like, I don't know, like there are times where it's like you can say like I am struggling because I'm depressed, but I
Yeah,
was a shithead. Like I am a
yeah.
shithead.
If you
Like that
own
was
up to
me
it,
in that
yeah.
moment.
I'm not saying like
Yeah.
don't, like, avoid owning up to it. Like, if you own up to it as a person, you're like, I wasn't in a good place and I'm sorry. Like, if you can hold yourself accountable for it, but if you just kind of keep trying to just use it as an excuse without taking that personal accountability, it's definitely not a healthier.
It's tiring. Nobody likes to be around that because,
Yeah.
you
It's it's an energy thing, right? Because like people like feel that vibe of like this person's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they know it. Oh, and they know it
Mhm.
too, but they
They
just don't want
it's
to say
that
it.
instinct that they just know that this person's a piece of shit. I don't want to be around this person.
It's like we all have experience.
The
with that.
vibes are off.
Anyway. No.
But yeah, dude, back to your question, Sharky. I'm always excited to make music. Well, there are some like I don't know. Sometimes you get like a client who's like not your favorite, right?
But you have
And
to
that's
work for
not
them.
fun, and you have to
Yeah.
work for them. But like, if you're helping their dream come true, like at the end of the day, it becomes worth it again at some point, you know.
It's
Um,
you're just like that first step. It's
yeah,
still their talent and stuff to, continue the forward motion, but
for sure.
you're the one helping them get that first step, to
For
go.
sure. It's like I always say like I'm like a miner with a pickaxe, and like the artist is this like just, beautiful gem like covered in like
Coal.
fucking like fossilized like dinosaur shit that we gotta like just pick away at like Minecraft in it. And but
You have to
yeah,
make sure not to break the gem.
that's right. That's right. And oh god, I am simultaneously like an awesome person to work with and a really frustrating person to work with because I have this weird thing. I wouldn't call it like synesthesia, but it's almost like auditory like hallucination like while I'm making music. Like I can hear in my head like exactly what like needs to go like where. And I just fucking know it. And once I like hear it, it's not like I'm like fiddling around for ideas, which I do, but like when you have those moments where you like hear it in your head like clear as day, like it's almost non-negotiable. Like it has to
Yeah.
go in the song, right? And when you're working with other people, obviously they're not going to have that same thing in their head, but I'm just like, no, you got to fucking trust me. Just believe me, man. Like this needs to be here. Like
That's the
fuck whatever
process.
you think, like trust the process. And for some people that drives people crazy. But for a lot of my clients that I work with, like repeatedly, um they
There's
like
a
it
reason they work with
really
you repeatedly,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Is they trust me and they believe in like my creativity and my choices, and that's like the best feeling. So when I'm working on like projects with people like that, I am like so stoked and so excited, and I'm like, let's go, let's get this done.
You
And
liked me enough to come back. I'm going to
yeah,
help you. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
And I also try to get like as personal as I can with the artists that I work with too, and to
Mhm.
you know just to be their friend and to know them, because I feel like the better I know like an individual, like the better I'm going to
The
be
better
able
you
to
can
like
help
yeah.
them.
help them and make something that like sounds and feels like them. And
So,
like or go on.
okay. So like I'm a photographer.
Okay.
That's one of the hats I wear. I take pictures of people. And at cons, there are two categories of photography I do. There's the photography I do because they're paying me to do it. And there's the photography I do because this is a very cool shot that I want to take.
Yeah,
And
just for
sometimes
you,
they
like
sometimes they overlap, but for the most part they stay in their lanes. But like when I see a really cool cosplayer, I was like, hey, can I get that shot real quick? And I'll get in the zone and take a picture. But there are people who here's $30,
let's
and
get it done. Yeah.
let's get it done. I think closer to the way you're describing, where the people who come in for repeat business, I'm also a dungeon master, and people pay me to DM them. And
Oh, that's awesome.
you, yeah, it's
Hmm.
not it's not to live
Hey,
off
it's
of. It's
cool.
just like it's
I
an
love
extra little
that
chunk of
shit.
change. It's like a tip. But it's one of those things where it's like this person likes this what I'm running for them enough to be like, hey, we're gonna come back the week. It's a bi-weekly game, so we're gonna come back week after next and do
Yeah.
this again and again and again. And we've been running pretty consistently, actually. Took a break during the new year, but that was it.
And if like everybody who's playing just pitches in,
Yeah,
it's like it makes it an easy thing, and it makes it worth your time and something that you can be excited about.
I
Not that
also
you wouldn't be excited about it without the payment, but it's just like it just shows that they care.
It's that little bit of
value it.
incentive to be like, oh yeah, these guys actually
It's-
like what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's the players. It's like, we want to come back and we will pay you to keep us. Like
there's also been players in the past who've like bought me the material and be like, we want you to DM this for me, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Yes, let's do it.
Perfect.
I'm also just to get all of my media out there. A musician. This is not me shooting my shot for you because I'm very out of practice.
Oh, you're good, dude.
But as a musician for a very long time, I do understand where it's coming from. Where it's like, this has to go here specifically, and if it doesn't, I'm going to freak out.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I freak out.
I mean, Deca knows that's me with the campaign setting that I'm running. It's like, I have this piece of lore. It has to go here. Like, this character backstory has to, like, the wire connects to here kind of thing. It's like, and it's just one of those things. It's like, once you get that in your mind, that's like, this is where it goes. This is the perfect fit. Then
it's non-negotiable
really,
after that.
It's really hard to shake that.
We can't play D&D, Sharky. I will do like anything that I possibly can to make it as difficult for the DM to like.
We do that anyway.
They do that anyway.
Okay. We had to invent Turtle Society. We mentioned that last episode.
Yeah, in D&D there's the turtle race, which is just turtle people, and
I love that.
It was just like, hey, where do these guys live? And I was looking at like the existing setting that I had, and I was like, not here. So I guess we need to figure out where they live. So
they're living somewhere. They're living in the project.
They live in Fantasy Polynesia.
Impromptu culture creation. Thanks, Deca.
Hey, that's what I do.
But yeah, is there anything else you want to add, Noah? Any last question from you, Deca?
I think I'm good here. This was an interesting conversation. It kind of zigged where I thought it was going to zag, but like, it's fascinating. I wasn't sure. I'm not going to lie. Because I am nothing if not honest. I didn't know what I was going to get out when we first started talking, but like, when the camera hit and we started talking, I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty interesting.
I think I like these guest weeks because it's people that at least one of us know, or we have a shared hobby. In this case, Noah knows, I've known Noah for a while, and we all have a familiarity with each other because we literally grew up gaming together for a few years. True. So it's like,
and we're going to grow old doing it.
And it's unfortunately. But,
well, it's even if I don't have passing familiarity with Noah, it's the thing of like, oh, he's a musician, I'm a musician, we understand on the content creation side.
There are always ways to relate. You gotta find them.
It's just, I mean, it's the same thing as like with Noah's music to your Patreon writing to. I don't do anything much anymore besides edit this podcast and everything. But I mean, that can fit there too. Like, I need to get this podcast out, per week.
Bro, you're a DM,
but I don't do that in a public
You don't do
sense.
it for monetary gain, but you still do it. It's still.
It's not about monetary gain. It's just the public eyes on it. Your Patreon, Patreon, like, people listen to, if not Noah's music, the music he produces for other people.
Yeah.
Your Patreon goes out to people who support your Patreon, and then you have your paid DM games with other people. It's like the things that I made publicly that I took, I have a lot of like love for. Was my channel, was this channel. It's like we all have our own things and kind of have that cross contamination of our love for
cross contamination. We got that creative COVID, baby.
Don't say that.
My bad. Did I just screw up the algorithm?
No, you're good.
But yeah, I guess that'll be it for today's episode, guys. Noah, it was great having you. It was great talking to you, getting your insight onto things, because when we first started talking, you were like, I'll just let you know I have a very bleak outlook on things.
Oh, I do. And like, we didn't get too deep into it, but like,
I didn't want to. It's like I wanted to keep things.
I want to scratch that surface so hard.
Yeah.
Don't ever end a podcast on a sour note.
Never, ever.
But
I'm really grateful for you two for taking the time to talk to me and letting me word vomit a bit. make my
Yeah,
shitty
man.
jokes.
I mean, like I said, I love these guest weeks, and like with all of our other guests, we'll get you back on sometime soon.
Awesome.
At some point.
Because
I'd
I
love
know it's just me and Deca like asking everybody these questions and having these conversations, but I'm sure Haley, Charlie, Alvin, they'll have their own questions, and they'd probably like to talk to a bunch of the people that we bring on these next few weeks. So
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
so
We did it once, we could do it again.
you're added
Yes,
to
we
the
can.
roster of
Let's
people to
go.
contact.
Love it.
But yeah, so that will conclude today's episode, everybody. If you liked it, you can leave a comment, let us know how I would say music's affected your life, or if you're a musician, some of your stories about the industry. If you're
Let's know what
watching this
makes you
on
happy.
what makes you happy about it. If you're watching on YouTube, we do have a Spotify if you want to listen to it in an audio form. And if you're listening on Spotify, we have it on YouTube if you want to watch the webcam video that we record with all these. And
Watch both.
Watch both. Help with those numbers. As always, I am SharkyHat, joined by Decavolty and Noah Kenton today. Thank you, Noah, for coming.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.